Hello everybody, my name's Martin Lepkan. I'd like to welcome you to the very first episode of Cowboys Take. Today we will look at the Thanksgiving game against the Washington Redskins, and we will focus on that ill-fated decision down the fourth quarter on the fourth down to try the fake punt. Obviously, as all the analytics, all the pundits already said, that's probably what's cost us the game. It was a bad decision. But we want to go deep. We want to take a deeper look at the analytics. We want to take a deeper look at the play call and at the execution to get to the decision if this is a good idea or if this is a bad idea. We don't want to be results orientated. The way it works, if you make it, it's a great call. If you don't make it, it's a terrible call. But that's now the odds works. If you got a play that's got a winning potential, that will be more successful than not, then I think you need to run it, and you can't get away from being aggressive just because you don't make these plays occasionally. So we will take a deeper look and make a decision. Was this a good call or was this a bad call, regardless of the outcome? Okay, let's take a look at the analytics of this play. So there are two possible outcomes, obviously. Either you get the first down or you turn the ball over to Washington. So we'll put together this simple table in Excel showing what can happen and what's the outcome of that play. So first let's take a look what happens when Washington gets the ball. So we didn't make the play, give it to Washington, which actually is what happened. So what do we know? We know that Washington, before in the game, got 3 drives when they were inside of our 34, which is where they will get the ball if we don't make it. They scored 1 touchdown. You got 2 field goals. So based on this very small sample, that means there's a 33% of them scoring a touchdown and 67 making the field goal. Obviously, it's a very small sample size. Generally speaking, this is almost the red zone scoring. So you know they're somewhere at 58%. So these numbers are very generous. On the other hand, they're 4 points up. And that means they will probably play it conservative. They will try to make sure they make it a 1 touchdown difference. They wouldn't like go for it probably on 4th and short. So still I think it is pretty generous, but we can probably adjust it to something like 40, 60. Obviously there's always a chance they will turn it over as well, so maybe let's give us 5% chance of turning it over. So maybe this is a more realistic progression of what may happen if they got the ball. Okay, let's take a look at what happens when we get the first down. Obviously a lot depends on where you get the first down. How big of a play can you make with this fake punt? Looks like the way it was designed is just to get the first down, so you will get the ball somewhere past your own 34. Once again, if we go to the analytics of the game, we had a 6th drive where we got to that line, and we scored 1 touchdown, 2 field goals, and we either punted or turned it over 3 times. So that doesn't give you really good numbers. It's a small sample considering this is the end of the game, last quarter. I think you'll be more aggressive. Let's give ourselves a chance of scoring in 20% of the time. Probably we'll get the field goal 40% and we'll get no points in another 40%. So that means in average, Washington will get 4.25 points from that situation. If we make it, we only get 2.6. So now the question is, how successful do you have to be to at least break even, to make it a profitable situation long term? And the calculation gives you 62%. So now you got to be asking yourself, was that play, did that play had at least 62% chance of making the first down? Well, we don't know, but it certainly didn't look like it's got to be that way. So from this point of view, it doesn't seem to be a very good idea. Let's put this into a different game. If this is 4th quarter, week ago against Minnesota, where both teams were really scoring and basically getting a lot of TDs, that's probably a different situation. In that situation, you probably give Minnesota something like 60% to score a touchdown, probably 35 to get a field goal. So suddenly they will get over 5 points. On the other hand, you probably have something like 40% of scoring a touchdown of your own, maybe even more, because we were really good in that game. So if you manage to score at least 50%, so if this is a free-flowing game, if it is a shootout where you score a lot of touchdowns, then suddenly your break-even goes up, or goes down actually. You only need to make the play in basically 1 out of 2, and you still break even. So the basic idea is the less points scored, the more times you need to make it. If this is a shootout, it's probably a good idea, and you can risk more. The reward is greater, but in a pretty tight game where the defense has got the better hand or got the upside, this doesn't seem to be a good idea. So from analytics point of view, this doesn't seem to be a good decision. Well, now we know, based on the analytics, that we need to be successful 6, maybe 7 out of 10 to get a first down, to make this a winning play, to make this a profitable play where you'll be successful long term. So you'll be right to call it regardless of the outcome. We will use some of the comments that Coach Fassel made, I think yesterday, where he mentioned that the whole play was designed on the way the Washington Redskins were defending the punt, especially the previous punt in the game, and they expected the cornerback to drop down or to return with our gunner to vacate the area and create a space for the punter to run in there and get the ball, get the reception. So from that point of view, I quite like that idea, because you're trying to exploit a pattern, and if you got it on tape, if you know that like 9 out of 10 punts they're defending this way, then probably you got a good shot. So I wouldn't be against this. Having said that, what do we know? What that they know? They do know. Well, the Washington Redskins, they know who's on the sidelines as a special teams coach. They know this guy likes to go for fake punts, especially in crucial times of the game. And this is exactly it. Obviously, you wouldn't expect them to go for a fake punt that deep in a 4-point game. So I think some level of catching them off guard is definitely in place. On the other hand, and again, something that Coach Fassel mentioned, that over the season they've seen a lot of very unusual sort of exotic looks for the punt formations, just because the other coach know you will try that. So he tries to defend, he tries to confuse you as well, try to exploit your aggressiveness against you. So that probably brings down the number of times where you'll be successful much lower to these 8 or 9 out of 10. It's tough to quantify because the sample we got is not as big. But what I didn't like is that you only got one option. You're relying on one particular player to make a play the way you want him to do, or even the opposing team to call the play. So that's something I don't like. There doesn't seem to be a plan B. Like what do we do? How do we get the first down if he stays put, if he stays in the zone? And that's something I miss in this play. I always like to have a plan B, potentially plan C. So like, if he stays put, I need to have a chance to make that play, either on the ground or through the air. And that seems to be missing here. So I like the idea of exploiting the patterns. That's something that will work. But you need to have a plan B, I assume. So from that point of view, the conclusion is, no, this play is not good enough to go for it. So we've been through the analytics. We've discussed the play call itself. Now let's take a look at the execution. How did we play this? Not sure if I want to see it again, to be honest. It's way too painful, but there's no other way, really. We have to run it again. So here's the snap. Here's the first part I didn't like about this play. If you want to sell this, why don't you run down the field? Why do you run inside? Because when I was watching it live, which obviously is the TV look, so it's not what the players see at the line of scrimmage, and immediately when he ran inside, I was like, oh, what are we doing? It must be a fake punt. It just shows you, like, if this is a normal punt, wouldn't you be just running straight down the field? I think you will. So I didn't like, well, I like the idea, as I've said, of exploiting their sort of weakness or the way they defend, but I assume you got to sell this better. If you're trying to get to the receiver as soon as you can, just run down the field. If you're running down the field, if you start running down the field, I think that there is a much better chance that the player will run with you, especially if he needs to turn from the ball. You run inside, he sees what's going on. If you run outside, run down the field, he needs to turn, and he doesn't see what's going on, so that there's a better chance he will go with you, and he will vacate his area. Okay, let's continue to play. So now it looks like he will run, but no, he stops because he sees the fake punt. He stays in the zone. And he drops down in the coverage. The other Washington defender, he's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's staying with the punter. Now let him run because he sees, okay, I will trust the guy who's behind me, and I will just make sure that he won't get it on the ground. I will shut the outside, and at the moment the play is really over. It's dead. However, if we go a few seconds back, run it again. Okay, so now you're running down, and at this point you can see, okay, they've sniffed out. You can't pass to the punter. But let's take a look at Goodwin, who was originally sort of the decoy. He was trying to get the cornerback off his position and open that area. Well, he's wide open, isn't he? So that's the plan B I was talking about in the play design. This is your plan B. If he stays put, this guy's all alone. He's one-on-one. I know it's like what, probably 30-yard pass or so, but if you pass right now, he's wide open. I don't think it's that tough of a pass. I think you can easily make the pass, and he's either gone and he's his head on the goalpost, or at least he'll probably get you to what, 40, maybe 30 line, at least in the field goal position. So even though the Redskins made a heck of a play, they realized this is a fake punt, we need to adjust, and they did. I still believe that the way the play was designed, it actually had a plan B, and we just failed to take advantage, because originally we were going for a first down. Now the way this developed at this point, it's almost a touchdown scoring chance. So another missed opportunity, I guess, and let's see how they will learn the lesson, because this really sounds like a really execution issue, because now it completely puts the analytics over the top. If you have a play that has a potential to go all the way down to at least get in a field goal range or even score a touchdown, suddenly your success ratio increases and the amount of times where you need to make this play decreases. So maybe if you got an option that if they don't drop deep, if they stay in the zone and actually the gunner is suddenly open, right now your return is great, and you only need to make this play maybe 3 or 4 out of 10, and still you'll be successful. So now we've been through everything. We know the analytics, we know the play call, and we've been through the execution. Now we know, okay, it wasn't a good idea to do this, but not because this is 4th and 10 deep in your territory. Not because you can't do this. It was not successful because of two things. It looks like we didn't have a plan B. Had we had plan B, when they drop in the zone and don't go down with the gunner, we might have been successful. With a better execution and a plan B, we would either get a first down, or there was a potential for a huge play, which actually might have put us in the lead, or at least in a field goal position, just with one single play, which I think is a return that you can definitely go for. Long term, you'll be winning team if you go for these situations. But that requires a lot of work on the practice ground, and it requires better planning. Get a plan B, better execution, you'll be successful. Thanks for watching the video. If you like the content, if you agree or disagree, please give us some comments to this video so we know what you think. If you want to see more, check our channel, become our subscribers, and see you next time.